December 7th, 1988. Earthquake in Armenia. Complete devastation. Schools, homes, factories crashed to the ground, entombing those within. Families ripped apart. All hope gone. The cries of children crushed beneath the rubble emptied the lives of those who remained. And then, from the ruins, an amazing rebirth. Children left without parents, without homes, and without limbs found reason to live. They found people who wanted to help them. They were the people of Pyunic, a grassroots organization created right after the earthquake to embrace its most vulnerable victims. Pyunic reached out to the children who were forced now to live without arms and legs, children who'd otherwise be cast aside and resigned to a cruel fate, and instead showed them that like the phoenix or Pyunic, they too could rise from the ashes. As a beginning, they engaged the children in physical activity so that they could rebuild their bodies, minds, and spirit. The waters of Armenia's Lake Sevan became the first source of inspiration. Pyunic took the children to the lake so that together they could learn to swim and play again, enjoy each other and their fresh surroundings. Some of the youngsters even learned how to sail, a sport that requires strength, discipline, and teamwork, and that provides an incredible sense of exhilaration and freedom. The waters of Lake Sevan had an amazing effect on the children, and from that experience was born Pyunic's commitment to take hundreds of children to summer camp at Lake Sevan each year. Here, the children not only enjoy the water, but spend several weeks learning and drawing, singing, and dancing, sharing and interacting with one another and with able-bodied visitors. Even Armenia's president has joined them, a big step toward participating in mainstream life. In 1996, an extraordinary demonstration of resilience. Armenia's young earthquake survivors formed a sailing team with a clear vision in mind. Night and day, they sailed. The team of 4 teenagers competed in several sailing meets and won, thus qualifying to represent Armenia for the first time ever in the International Paralympic arena. In July of 1996, with the support of Pyunic's LA, Chicago, and Atlanta chapters, the sailors headed for the 1996 Summer Paralympic Games in Atlanta. But first, the team stopped in Los Angeles, where they familiarized the community and media with Pyunic's goals and re-energized Pyunic members and friends. Once in Atlanta, Armenia's sailors became known as the Golden Boys. Armenia, the least experienced of all the teams, consistently came in on top. Though technical errors resulted in disqualification, they still returned to Armenia as champions. After the Summer Paralympics, Atlanta's small Armenian community was so inspired by the young athletes that it spearheaded an effort to buy a competition sailboat for the team. Pyunic supporters followed through on their promise and delivered a brand new sailboat to Armenia, a huge boost for the sailors who could now begin preparing on Lake Sevan for the 2000 Summer Paralympic Games in Sydney, Australia. Pyunic didn't stop there. The summer sun and fun had done such wonders for the youngsters that Pyunic established winter camp on the snow-covered mountains of Zalkazod. Here, campers learn to ski and sled. They don't stop short of achieving any goal. They welcome challenge and adventure. Those with one leg or none are some of the most graceful and talented skiers. During these camps, bonds develop and confidence soars. From sailing to skiing to marathons, Pyunic's members participate every year in marathons in Los Angeles, New York, Chicago, and Armenia. During the past few years, Pyunic's U.S. chapters have brought athletes from Armenia to compete in the world-famous 26-mile Los Angeles, New York, and Chicago marathons. They have placed as high as 10th out of 400 wheelchair competitors, an invigorating experience for marathoners and spectators alike. In Armenia, during each May 28th Independence Day celebration, disabled citizens wheel themselves from Yerevan's Opera Square to Echmiadzin, an enormous achievement in a country which only through Pyunic's efforts has begun to accept its physically challenged as functional, contributing members of society. Today, Pyunic is recognized in Armenia as a vital resource for the nation. To show its support for Pyunic, the government has just granted the charitable organization a 30,000 square foot building overlooking Mount Ararat to serve as its headquarters. Pyunic has already made 3 rooms of the building functional. One serves as Pyunic's office. The second is a computer room which will be used for training. The third contains a silk screening machine donated by Pyunic LA members. Pyunic will teach its youngsters how to print t-shirts. This will be Pyunic's first business venture run by its young men and women. When completed, the Pyunic Center for the Disabled will house a physical therapy clinic, gym, orthopedic center, swimming pool, large hall, computer and vocational training center, guest rooms for the needy, and more. Pyunic Center for the Disabled. It's a permanent commitment to the disabled. It's a challenge that will be met with the help of Armenia's world community. It's already happening. It's up to each of us to make it a reality. Pyunic's survivors are today victors. Each year, they climb to the peak of Mount Aragats and raise the flag that they so proudly represent. It's our turn now to join them.